Hello, welcome to Hannah's Knit Cottage. My name is Hannah and we are here for a Flosstube. So normally this channel is all knitting with a little bit of cross stitch thrown in, but what I decided to do, since it's 2026, we're in a new year, I wanted to break up cross stitching into its own series. So if you didn't know I cross stitched, you could find that video specifically. If you didn't want to watch cross stitch, you could just watch the knitting one. And I wanted to hold myself accountable. So I kind of lost my cross stitch bug for a little bit, and this past year in 2025, I feel like I really regained it. So we're here to film a Flosstube. So I'm going to show you all my WIPs that I have currently going, and then we're going to talk about my plans. Or you know what? Let's start with plans. So my goal for 2026 is to cross stitch 26,000 stitches. That sounds like a ton of stitches, which it is, but when you break it down, that just means I do 500 stitches every week. And I feel like that's achievable. I've played around with my cross stitch setup in 2025, so I feel like I've gotten a better arrangement, I guess, that I can cross stitch more easily. We've just moved into a new house, so I have a dining table that I can kind of spread out and cross stitch. My husband got me a new stand for Christmas for my scroll frame. I'll have to like get a picture of the setup. It's really cool. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is go through the WIPs, and then I have a couple of things I know I'm going to start this year. And my goal is every week I'm going to spin the wheel. So today we will do the wheel spin for all of January's weeks, and I'll see which one I'm going to get 500 stitches on each week. So pretty simple. We'll see if this works. If it doesn't, then you might see Flosstube number 2 in February that says it crashed and burned, you know? You never know. Anyway, okay. So this is how you can tell Hannah has not filmed a Flosstube ever before, because I went to start pulling WIPs and I realized I need Pattern Keeper to tell you about these. So not everything I have is in Pattern Keeper, but what I have in Pattern Keeper I will talk about. And we'll start. All right, so the first one up is a full coverage piece. It is called Mini Lighthouse. Let me see if I can get the thumbnail pulled up. Let's see here. There we go. This is Mini Lighthouse Cottage by T.C. Chu. It's a full coverage. This was my first full coverage start, and my goal is to do this piece and then put some of the words for the old hymn, The Lighthouse, underneath it and put it in my church Christmas auction. I love how Hannah thought I was going to have that done in 2025. Obviously, that did not happen. Let's see here. This is my start on it. Yes, okay. So yes, I love how we thought I was going to do all of this. No, I have not ironed my pieces. Maybe one day. So this is a 14 count easy grid fabric, just easy grid Aida. This is all I've done. I love how we thought that was going to be done in a year. So I have done, actually, am I still crooked? No, this is correct. I've done 1,186 stitches out of 31,000 stitches. I am at 3.83%. So theoretically, even if I did 26,000 stitches in the year and did it just on this piece, it would not be done this year. So don't anticipate that being done this year, but eventually. We have a Christmas auction every year. It'll be fine. Okay, the second one, this is my other full coverage. So I have a lot of full coverage pieces on standby, but after starting this one, the Lighthouse, and then I went to start this one because I was just itching to start it, I realized I'm good for a while. These are a lot. So this one is Born in a Manger by Donna Gelsinger. The artwork is by Donna Gelsinger. I got it off of Heaven and Earth Designs. There it is. It's focusing. I love this piece. This one I 100% want it to hang up in my house. And that was part of why I kind of wanted to start both, is like I have a piece going to give away and a piece going to keep, so I can kind of keep working on both. This one I pushed myself to start on 25 count easy grid, and I have it in a Nurge hoop. I'm debating putting this in a scroll frame, and I literally have done 99 stitches out of 152,950. So I am 0.6% done. So yeah, real great cross stitching, Hannah. But I'm learning, and I realized I have one more piece on Easy Grid. Let me go get that one next. So I was cross-stitching for a while, and I just felt like I was constantly making mistakes. Obviously, I'm a little visually impaired here. Not like legally blind or anything, but just sometimes it's hard for me to count the tiny little stitches. So I just felt like I couldn't cross-stitch, that maybe just cross-stitch was not for me. And then I saw the Easy Grid Aida, and I was like, well, let me give it a chance. I saw Teresa Little Stitcher. If you've not seen her Flosstube, oh my goodness, please go watch her. She's awesome. She started off with full coverage, and that was her introduction into cross-stitch, but she did it on Easy Grid fabric, and because every stitch has to be stitched, it helped her really keep track, and she wasn't counting long distances. She was only counting in a 10 by 10 square. So I saw that, and I was like, well, let me try it, and it worked for me too. It really, I think, was a great start because, again, I'm not counting so many squares. And so then I got a little more confident, and then it helped me approach some other pieces. Do I still make mistakes? Yes, all the time, but it doesn't feel so unachievable like it did. So my next piece is in a scroll frame. So we're going to see how well I can show this. This is on a scroll frame that I got by, at Woolmarket Fibers. This is the works of Jane Austen. I do have this in Pattern Keeper. There is some back stitching in it, but we're going to have to see if I can get this pulled up or not. Okay. Don't mind, let's see, here's the picture of the pattern. Don't mind the works of Jane Austen above. I was looking at changing the font, and then I realized that was way too much work. But this is the full piece, so it's all of Jane Austen's main works that were finished in her lifetime. And it goes in the order of publication. And last year would have been the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth. So I started this on December 26th of 2024. So that's the only reason I can remember that is because it was literally the day after Christmas. And I was really itching to start this. So if you see, I've gotten the border on the top, and I'm in the first book. I'm almost done with Sense and Sensibility. I have not, in Pattern Keeper, if you know about Pattern Keeper, you cannot see back stitches in Pattern Keeper, so I'm going to have to go back and do that. But I have 3,089 stitches out of 19,331 stitches total, which is 17.53%. So it's going pretty good, and especially with the new frame my husband got me for Christmas, it holds scroll frames really well, and it allows you to flip to the back of your work, but they're still secure enough to work from. It's been a huge game changer. So I really do see myself working on this more in the coming year. So there's, I think what I'm going to do is cross stitch each book. So when I finish Sense and Sensibility, I will go back in and do all the back stitch on Sense and Sensibility, so it's not too much of a job. And then I'll go on to the next book. So that is Works of Jane Austen. I'll link it below. It was a mystery cross stitch along, or a mystery stitch along, that released several years ago. So I think the designer name is Ecopons with an I. Anyway, it'll be linked below. I forgot to say the Works of Jane Austen is stitched on a 14 count Easy Grid Aida. So yes, I have two 14 counts and a 25 count. All right, this next one, I have a ton of bags over here, y'all. So sorry if you hear some rustling. I have this in a Q-snap. I really like how I have it set in the Q-snap, so I'm not taking it out of the Q-snap for this video. This is my Christmas list. Oh goodness, you can't see a lot of it. No, you can. Okay. This is my Christmas list by Silver Creek Samplers. Technically, I have this one in Pattern Keeper, but it does not work very well. But I can show you. This is a black and white. Oh, can I show you without? There we go. That's what it looks like in black and white. Maybe. Oh, here. All right. This is what it will look like stitched up. So it goes family visits, turkey dressing, woolen sweaters, Christmas blessing, flying reindeer, mistletoe, candles glowing, hot cocoa, pies and cookies, old Saint Nick, peace and goodwill, peppermint stick, wrapping presents, gingerbread, hang your stocking, time for bed, angels singing, Christ is born, a gift for all on Christmas morn. So I love this. This is 100% To me, this is like an heirloom piece. I think this would be really cool to have hanging up in my house every year at Christmas time. So I had this started, and I'll show you my original start. This was on a 14 count piece by Fabric Flair. I think it's called Parchment. Does it say? Yeah, Pale Parchment. So this was the original start, and I actually had gotten a pretty good ways in. And you see how much bigger it is. Also still didn't iron the fabric. But if you notice in here, I had already ripped out because I messed up the top part of this and had to restitch it. Or I was starting to restitch it. But the white on the snowflakes was just not showing up. So the darker colors were showing up really great. But when I went to do all the white and stuff, it's just not. And this is actually a pale gray with a Kreinik in there to try and give it some sparkle, just to do something to make it show up. And it just was not showing up. And even you can see here on the turkey, it was not popping very well. So I will use this for something, I'm sure, at some point, but it just was not working for what I needed it to. And this was one of my first pieces, I guess, that I was cross-stitching. So I was like, well, let's just give it a restart. Let's restart it. And so this is an 18 count mushroom Lugana by Zweigart. So I picked this piece out for something else and it didn't work. It was not quite big enough. So I think the whites, you really can see them popping. I'm kind of copying what I do on a full coverage and doing like a 10 by 10 grid. I was missing the 304 for this light here. So I'm going to get, or I have the 304. I just need to add it in there. So whenever this comes up on the wheel, we'll add it in there. So that is my Christmas list by Silver Creek Samplers. All right, hopefully this video doesn't seem too choppy. I'm kind of cutting out where I'm rustling in bags and I'm still getting over a little bit of a cold, so I have a little bit of a cough. So I figured y'all probably don't want to hear me cough today. So anyway, this is the next one. This is Letters to Santa by, I think it's just listed under Fat Quarter Shop. This was a Christmas stitch along in like 2022, I think. So I'm not quite the halfway point, but I'm getting close. And it just reads out like a little postcard. So on the other side has like the lines for the mailing and the note you'd put in and stuff. This is really cute. There's a lady at my church that I think would really, really like this. And I got the kit with the needle minder. I think this just uses DMC thread. Everything I've shown thus far is all DMC. So this one I did not put in a pattern keeper because the Fat Quarter Shop patterns do not play nice with pattern keeper. So I'm kind of learning, okay, if it doesn't work in pattern keeper, I'm still kind of navigating how I'm going to stitch it. I don't like stitching off of paper charts. I've realized that. So we'll see. I did do the work on my Christmas list. I did off a paper chart. And I feel like maybe I hit a new groove with it. So we'll see. That might be the new move here. All right, we're getting there. This next one is probably going to be a restart at some point if I can find the pattern. All right, so this next one's probably going to be a restart. We'll see. It's yet another Lighthouse because when I realized I couldn't finish the first Lighthouse this year, I was like, well, let me start another one so maybe I can finish this one. This is from Cottage Garden Samplings. This is the Lighthouse Cottage. They did like a monthly series of cottages. It's a little dark on camera here. This one it does use a Classic Colorworks color in here, but I've also subbed out, I think, one more for a Classic Colorworks. So I have two colors. And I have this on, I believe this is a 14 or 16 count Aida by Zweigart that I had in my stash. I'm sorry, I will try to do better. And it was going good. And then I made some sort of mistake in this area, I think, or somewhere in here. And I just don't know that it's fixable without just ripping the whole thing out. And I actually did a lot. This is a lot more than I thought I had done. So we'll see. I feel like this one might be a restart. I'm debating taking this one off the wheel, actually. In fact, let's take this off the wheel. We're going to take this off the wheel until something else gets done, and then we're going to come back and know what to do with that one. But I mention it here just so we have a starting point of, you know, like you can see where I'm at for starting wise on these patterns, and then we'll have a comparison for the end of 2026. All right, last one before we talk about some new starts and honorable mention WIPs. This is Granita by Fat Quarter Shop. And this is on a 25 count Lugana. And I started this one and very quickly felt out of my depth. I was very much so a baby stitcher. And I think for this one, Granita is such a pretty pattern. I always picture this hanging in my kitchen. And that was before I was married or had a house. And something about the blue version of this, and normally I'm a pink person, so you would think the pink, like the red pink one would have appealed to me, but the blue one really caught my attention. And then it was funny because my wedding colors were blue and white, and kind of the house decor it's starting to emerge as blue and white, so this will fit. Anyway, this is 25 count Lugana. I think this is just the called for from Fat Quarter Shop, and it's all stitched in DMC, the blue. So we'll see. This one I debated. I think I'm going to have some leftover Easy Grid Aida from my Works of Jane Austen. So if this one would fit on it, I thought about that. But I like the delicacy of this tiny stitching here. And I think I'm doing one strand. Yeah, I think I'm doing 1/1 on this. So the 14, 16, and 18 count, I've done 2/1. And then the 25 count, I've done 1/1. So we'll see. Actually, this is not 25 count. This is 32 count, I bet. Nope. This is 25 count 2/1. That's what it is. 25 count 2/1 on Lugana. I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm still a baby cross stitcher. So that's all the WIPs I have going. Again, this one I might just kind of selectively take off the wheel until I know what to do with it, because I would hate to have this goal of 26,000 stitches this year, knowing I have WIPs that could stand to have 26,000 stitches and then stall out because I don't know what to do with the WIP that got called. So okay, we're going to say that Granita and the Lighthouse Cottage, the non-full coverage, they are going to be on hiatus until we finish some other stuff. So let's do some honorable mention WIPs. I just moved into this house, so I have a couple of cross stitch WIPs that have not made the move over yet, and they're smaller WIPs. That's why they just haven't been touched in a while. So I can show you the picture though. I have a series of Stardew Valley patterns, and it's spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And autumn you can stitch as fall or autumn. I'm choosing to do autumn, but I found them on Etsy. Really, really cute. So that's summer, and I believe I have a baby start on summer. This is autumn, and these are all of the seasonal crops you can get in Stardew Valley. So when I was first cross stitching in like 2022, I found these and I was like, I want these for my future house. And I think that tends to be, here's winter, that tends to be my inspiration for all of my cross stitch WIPs, is either what is going to go in my house at some point or what is designated as a gift for somebody. So you're probably not going to see me do a lot of like random things. And I watch a lot of Flosstube and see people stitch things that are, you know, just because they're pretty. And I think it's so great. I can't relate. And maybe once I start stitching a little faster and better, it would be different, but we'll see. Once I get into my groove here in this new setup, maybe I'll start stitching more variety, but we'll see. So that's all of the current active things. I have 3 planned new starts for 2026. They will go on the board as soon as they are fully kitted. So one of them, I have the pattern with me, and it was right here. All right, I picked this one up. So this pattern I picked up this year. I went to a cross stitch shop when I was on vacation. My husband took me. So I found this in person, and I'd forgotten about this kind of being in the background, like of something I wanted to do. And when I saw it, I was like, this is it. I knew that next year is America's 250th birthday. I had wanted to stitch Lady of the Flag, and it has been out of print for a long time. So in October of 25, I was like, well, I'm only seeing it for sale on eBay for like $300, and I cannot justify $300 for a pattern by itself. So when I saw this in the store, I was like, okay, this could be my WIP for 2026 to celebrate America's 250th birthday. It is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. And this is really cool because it has, I believe it has 50 stars, and then it has all the states listed in the order that they joined the union. And it has the very back page of the pattern has the states listed and when they joined the union, which I thought was really, really cool. And I'm stitching this. Let's see if I can grab it here. I decided to delve into some fancy floss because this only calls for 3 different colors. It does call for a lot of said 3 colors, but just I think with only 3 colors, the variegation in the color would really help give it some movement. So I have for our blue, I have Weeks Dye Works, and this is Michael's Navy. The white is called Whitewash, again, Weeks Dye Works. And the red is Liberty by Weeks Dye Works. So I kitted this up at the store, and that was actually what the mushroom Lugana was designated for. And then I had not done my math properly in the store, and the cut I got was too small, which was kind of a shame. But I'll get some fabric for it. So when the fabric arrives, this one will be thrown into the wheel to start. And again, I'm going to do this one the same way I did my Christmas list, where I work in like a 10 by 10 block over. And I think that is the key to me not having as many mistakes in my stitching. I think when I try to count too far, that's what really gets me. So the other 2 cast ons for the year, you might kind of start to get my hint because you're like, but Hannah, you mentioned that Mirabilia was out of print. The Lady of the Flag was out of print, but aren't they re-releasing it? Yes, they are. So in December, I guess it was Zweigert. Is this right? No, Witchelt. Sorry. Witchelt announced that they were re-releasing Lady of the Flag and Queen of Freedom. I'll have to try and put a picture up here on the screen. And my husband has known that I've been looking for Lady of the Flag. I had kind of just not worried about Queen of Freedom because I was like, if I can get Lady of the Flag, that was my unicorn chart. And that was that. And so I had bid on a couple eBay auctions on Lady of the Flag. So when they announced the re-release, I called up my girl Michelle at Wool Market Fibers because they also do carry cross stitch threads and patterns and fabric and all this stuff. And I was like, hey, can you get Witchell patterns? She's like, yes. So if you are still looking for Lady of the Flag or Queen of Freedom, please contact Wool Market Fibers because I do believe they have a couple still available. But I'm in line first, so don't cut in front of me in line, please. Anyway, so I have Queen of Freedom and Lady of the Flag that I'm going to start. And I ordered some fabric, and I don't remember off the top of my head. I know one of them is from the Primitive Hair. I think the other one is Fabric Flare, and I got them both on 18 count Aida. But Lady of the Flag is going to go on a piece of fabric that is the Declaration of Independence on the back of it, like in the background. And then Queen of Freedom is going to go on the Constitution. So I'm really excited about that. I think that is, I don't know that words are hard. I don't know that they're going to hang up in my house all the time, but that was a huge bucket list. That was a huge bucket list item that I really wanted. So I'm very pumped about that. So that's my goals. Those pieces are going to be on the wheel. So we have Granita that may not be on, sorry. So we have Granita and the Lighthouse from Cottage Garden samplings that are not going to be on the wheel as of right now. But they will get on the wheel probably after the Stardew Valley pieces are done, honestly. I'll probably put one of them on the wheel. I have 2 other pieces that I might choose to add to the wheel that I have been gifted, and I'm going to show you these. I'm a huge Jane Austen fan, as evidenced by these 2, because I did not purchase, I purchased the Works of Jane Austen chart. I purchased the Works of Jane Austen chart, but I did not purchase these two, and they were very kindly gifted to me. Michelle gifted me this chart. This is a Jane Austen Quaker. If you do color conversions, please comment below. Sorry for the glare. Please comment below like what you use to do your color conversions, because I would love to take this and put it on something a little more, little pop, you know, like a pink or something like that, and color change this. Because I think the blue would pop, and honestly, you could probably get her skin to pop on a pink fabric. This tan, you'd probably have to lighten up. But I want to liven her up a little bit. I think I would really like it. Because I have been interested in stitching a Quaker. The motifs always look cool to me. So there's that one. And then this one, again, I guess I'm on a kick of wanting to stitch on hot pink fabric. I thought about putting this on hot pink fabric until I realized how much pink there is in this. This was gifted to me by my mother-in-law. It is Pride and Prejudice. So this is from the Jane Austen Center. So yeah, they I guess worked with Love Poppet, which is a UK company, and put out this pattern. I love Pride and Prejudice. I love the artwork on this. I think it's fantastic. I'm debating on what kind of color fabric. So if you have thoughts on what color fabric it would look good on, let me know. This is not a super rush to start. Now, I will say she did kit me all of the threads. So all the DMCs that are called for in this, I already have. Sorry, I have all of the floss. I have all the floss to do it. So I've just got to decide when and what fabric. I was debating taking the pale parchment, but if the white didn't show up, maybe here, I just need to make sure whatever white is in this has a darker color around it to make it pop. And then I could maybe use that pale parchment from Fabric Flare. It would make it pretty big. It would end up being 10.5 by 7 3/4 is what it says. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. So I'm going to quickly do a little set change here and get our wheel so we can spin our wheel for our first cross stitch pull of 2026. All right, so since we took out the Granita and the Lighthouse by Cottage garden samplings, and then we have 3 more pieces that the One Nation, it's hard to remember all these. So we have the 3 pieces that are not fully kitted yet. They're not here. We have Queen of Freedom, Lady of the Flag, and One Nation. So with the 2 we took out and the 3 that we're waiting on, there's 5 that are missing from this wheel. That should be on this wheel at some point. So that leaves us with 7 WIPs on the wheel, which I think is a pretty good spread if we're going to do, I'm counting this first week. So it's January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I'm counting as a week. So we'll have 5 spins for January. So each WIP needs to get 500 stitches. However, like whatever order I work on that in is fine. As long as I get my 2,000 stitches, it'll be 2,500 by the end of January. So I think that's a good start. All right, so here's the wheel. I've got the wheel here. We're going to see what we get. If I can work this backwards here. All right, here we go. Yay! So our first pull is My Christmas List. And it has the option where I could remove it, but I won't remove them. All right, here's our second pull. Ooh, Born in a Manger, yay! I guess I'm going to be excited about all of these because all of these are ones I've been kind of itching to work on anyway. So it works in, we have My Christmas List, Born in a Manger. What is next? Lighthouse Cottage. Okay, I probably need to write this down. Are we going to have 5 unique ones? This is pull number 4. Forgive the ads on the bottom. Oh no, okay. So Lighthouse Cottage is going to get 1,000 stitches this month. All right, last pull for the month. Here we go. Stardew Valley Summer. Okay, so I'll have to get Stardew Valley out. So we have my Christmas list will get 500 stitches. Born in a Manger will get 500. The Lighthouse Cottage will get 1,000 stitches. And Stardew Valley Summer will get 500. And let me check because I think it has like 1,000 stitches, but it's pretty small. Yeah, so Stardew Valley Summer has 1,177 stitches. So really, if it gets pulled one more time, I'll probably just try and finish it and go ahead and get it knocked out. So that'd be cool to already have like one finish on the horizon for 2026. So thank you if you watched this first Flosstube. I know this isn't as big a variety or amount of WIPs as some other Flosstubers might have, but I'm starting out small, trying to, I think, just stay focused and not be overwhelmed by WIPs. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, hit subscribe. I'm going to try and do these once a month to show like the whole month's worth of progress. And I'm going to try and write down how many stitches I do each day. Like I have a planner, so I'm going to try and write in my planner if I cross stitch that day and how much I cross stitched. So, and then I'll write like my goals in the sidebar. So I make sure I hit all of those goals for January. So I'm excited. Excited to see what this new chapter of cross stitching is going to be. I'm pumped. I think I've got the stitchy bug back. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in February for Flosstube number 2. All right, bye.